This video discusses about the photosynthesis process, and in this we'll be talking about the role of chloroplast. Now, photosynthesis is an important process which is being performed by the plants only, and it is important for two reasons. One important reason is the since the plants are only capable of producing their own food, they are the energy source for the animals, and both herbivores and the carnivores are either directly or indirectly dependent upon the plants as the main source of energy. Another important thing or another important point about photosynthesis is that it is a mechanism that provides oxygen and which is so very important for the survival of all living organisms. So we find that photosynthesis is an important process. Now, when we talk of photosynthesis, always it comes to our mind that it is actually the green leaves of the plant which is exclusively involved in photosynthesis. But it is not so. We find that apart from the green leaves, there are certain parts of the plant which also take part in photosynthesis, and it depends upon the plant and the habitat on which it is thriving and the type of modification it is having. For example, the open shear or the cactus, when we call it, the cactus over here, the stem is, this is a modified stem we are talking of, and it is modified into a leaf-like structure, whereas the leaves are modified into spines. These are leaf and these are modified into spines. So over here the stem has a major large surface area which is green in color. It is succulent and it is very well exposed to the light. Also, it has high concentration of chloroplast and chlorophyll present here within the stem which is modified. So, it is over here in open shear that stem is playing a major role in photosynthesis. Again, when we talk of some kinds of orchids, they have photosynthetic aerial roots which take part in photosynthesis because they do not have leaves at all. So we see that there are different types of plants in which where we find the photosynthesis is performed by other parts of the plant rather only the leaves. The chloroplast over here is main site where actually the process of photosynthesis takes place. So when we study the structure of chloroplast, we find it has two different, we can divide that into two different zones, that is the membranous system and the stroma system. The membranous system consists of the outer membrane and the inner membrane, but the major role is played by the grana. Grana is actually the membranes which are stacked over one another, and these are known as thylakoids, and these thylakoids together form the grana. These grana are suspended within the stroma, and besides the stroma it has the grana and stroma, it has lipid droplets, the starch granules and the ribosomes. So chloroplast is the site where actually the process of photosynthesis happen. Now these chloroplasts are found in the mesophyll cells. So chloroplasts are present in mesophyll cells. Now, the chloroplasts are always aligned or arranged in such a manner so that they obtain the optimum light. Now, when the light is poor or when the situation is when there is low intensity of light, when low intensity of light is observed, then the chloroplasts align themselves with a flat surface parallel to the walls of the mesophyll cells. So here, when poor light or low light intensity, the chloroplasts arrange themselves parallel to the walls of the mesophyll cells, and this situation is known as epistrophy. Now, when the light intensity is high, the second situation is when high light intensity, then the arrangement of chloroplast differs. Now, over there, they will be arranged parallel to the or perpendicular to the walls of the mesophyll cell. Now, the reason for this is if they will be exposed directly to a lot of sunlight, the cells will undergo photooxidation. So, to prevent photooxidation, the chloroplasts will align themselves perpendicular to the walls of the mesophyll cells, and this is known as peristrophy. These two are the different alignments or arrangements of the chloroplast within the mesophyll cells. Now, when we study in a chloroplast, there are two different zones, that is the membrane system or the system of thylakoids, and the second system, that is the stroma. Now, the membrane system is actually performing two things. It is trapping the light energy, traps the light energy, and also it produces ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and NADPH, that is nicotine adenine dinucleotide phosphate. So this is NADPH is produced, and it also traps the light energy. Now, since this is all the activities is performed in presence of light, the reactions are known as light reaction, because these reactions are completely dependent upon light. The stroma, on the other hand, over here, it uses the CO2, the carbon dioxide, which is used for the synthesis of sugar. Carbon dioxide is used for production of sugar, for producing sugar, and synthesis of starch. Over here. So, these reactions which are taking place in the stroma are not dependent directly on the light, and therefore the reactions which are taking place in the stroma are known as dark reactions. These are known as dark reactions. Now, these are dependent upon the products of the light reactions, that is the ATP and NADPH. So, light reaction and the dark reaction which are taking place in the chloroplast perform actually the process of photosynthesis.